This story helps you practice listening and learn new words naturally. Let's listen together and grow your English skills. Part 1. Harry felt happy. He was back at Hogwarts School. He was with his friends on the train. Ron and Hermione were there. They talked and laughed. The train moved through green fields. It was a sunny day. They arrived at the old castle in the evening. The castle was big and warm. Many students walked inside. The great hall was full of light. There was a long table for the teachers. Harry saw the teachers. He knew most of their faces, but one man was new. The new man had a round, kind face. He had a big mustache. He smiled at all the students. Professor Dumbledore stood up to speak. The hall became very quiet. "I'm happy to see you all," Dumbledore said. "We have a new teacher this year. Please say hello to Professor Slughorn. He will teach potions class." Harry looked at Ron and Hermione. They were surprised. Professor Snape was their old potions teacher. Now, Professor Snape would teach a different class. This was a big change. The next day, Harry went to the potions room. It was in the dungeons. The room was a little cold. Harry saw he had a problem. He did not have the school book for the class. Professor Slughorn saw his face. "Do not worry," the professor said kindly. He showed Harry a big box. The box had many old books inside. "You can use one of these." Harry looked in a box. He chose a book from the bottom. The book was very old and not new. The cover was a dark color. It was a little torn. Harry opened the book. The pages were not white. They were a light yellow color. Then he saw something interesting. Someone wrote many small notes in the book. The notes were between the lines and on the sides. The writing was neat and small. The notes gave instructions. "Stir 4 times, not 3, one note said. "Wait 2 extra minutes here," said another note. The notes were on many pages. On the first page, a name was written. The writing said, "This book belongs to the Half-Blood Prince." Harry read the name again. He did not know this name. He showed the name to Ron. Ron read it and shook his head. He did not know the name either. The class started. They made a difficult potion. Harry read the normal instructions. Then he read the note from the prince. He followed the note's advice. He added a little more of one plant. He stirred the potion slowly. His potion changed color. It became a beautiful silver color. It smelled like fresh flowers. Professor Slughorn walked around the room. He looked at all the potions. He stopped at Harry's desk. He looked into Harry's potion. He smiled a big smile. "This is perfect, Harry. This is excellent work," he said loudly. He was very happy. Harry felt good, but also a little surprised. He looked down at the old book. The Half-Blood Prince was a secret, but his advice was very good. Harry closed the book carefully. He put it in his bag. He knew this book was special. It was a helpful secret for the new school year. If you enjoyed this English listening story, please subscribe to the channel. Tap the bell for more simple stories like this. Thank you for practicing with us. Part 2. Harry used his new book every day in potions class. The notes from the Half-Blood Prince were always right. They showed him little tricks. The tricks made everything easier. His potions were always perfect. They were the right color. They made the correct smoke. Professor Slughorn praised him often. "Excellent, my boy," he would say. Ron's potions were sometimes not so good. Harry quietly shared the prince's notes with him. Soon, Ron's potions were better too. The old book was not just for potions. In the back pages, Harry found other writings. The prince wrote spells. These were spells for fun and for help. One spell was called Levi Corpus. The note said it lifted a person by their ankle. Harry did not try it on a person. He practiced the hand movement under his desk. One afternoon, he was in the common room. His friend, Seamus Finnegan, was annoying him. Seamus was talking very loudly. Harry felt a little angry. Without thinking, he took out his wand. He did the Levi Corpus movement. He did not say the spell out loud, but Seamus suddenly yelped. He flipped upside down. He hung in the air by one ankle. He looked very surprised. Everyone in the room laughed. Harry was shocked. He quickly reversed the spell. Seamus fell onto a soft chair. "How did you do that?" Seamus asked, laughing. Harry just said it was a spell he read about. He did not mention the book. The secret of the book made Harry feel special. It was his own private helper. He studied the prince's handwriting every night. The writing was smart and confident. Harry started to admire the prince. He imagined the prince was a brilliant student. He thought the prince must have been brave and clever. One day, Hermione saw him reading it. "You use that book too much, Harry," she said. Her voice was worried. "You do not know who wrote those notes. Some of those spells look not so nice." Harry shook his head. "The prince is brilliant, Hermione," he said. "He helps me. Look at my potions grade." Hermione was not happy. She believed in following the rules. The prince's book was not a rule book. It was a book of shortcuts. Harry did not listen to her worry. The prince's advice worked. That was the most important thing. The book helped him succeed. It made him the best in potions. Professor Slughorn smiled at him more than at any other student. This felt very good to Harry. He kept the book with him always. It was in his bag or under his pillow. The spells in the back were interesting. Some were for cleaning. One was for mending broken things. But others had strange, sharp names. Harry did not try those. He liked the helpful prince. He did not want to think about a darker side. The book was a gift. It was his secret key to doing well. For now, that was all that mattered. Part 3. Life was not just about potions class. Harry had another job. It was a secret job from Professor Dumbledore. Dumbledore asked Harry to come to his office often. The office was a round room full of strange objects. They did not talk about schoolwork. They talked about Lord Voldemort. Dumbledore had a special object. It was a shallow stone bowl. It had strange designs on the side. The bowl held a silvery, shining substance. "These are memories, Harry," Dumbledore explained. "We will look inside them." He took his wand and touched the silvery substance. The memory inside the bowl swirled. Then the whole room seemed to melt away. Harry was not in the office anymore. He stood in a different place. It was like a dream. He saw a young boy in an orphanage. The boy was named Tom Riddle. Tom was handsome and polite, but his eyes were cold. Harry watched him talk to other children. Tom was different. He liked to scare them. He liked to take their things. They watched another memory. Tom Riddle was now a teenager at Hogwarts. He was a prefect. He was very clever. Everyone liked him, but Harry could see the lie. Young Tom asked Professor Slughorn about Horcruxes. His voice was sweet and curious. A Horcrux is a very dark magic. A person can hide a piece of their soul inside an object. This makes them very hard to defeat. Tom Riddle wanted to make not one, but many Horcruxes. This was his secret to immortality. The memory ended. Harry felt cold. He was back in Dumbledore's office. "So, he did it," Harry said quietly. Dumbledore nodded. His face was very serious. "Yes, Lord Voldemort split his soul. He put pieces into different objects. These objects are the Horcruxes. As long as they exist, he cannot die. This was their real task. This was more important than any school lesson. Harry and Dumbledore had to find these Horcruxes. They had to find them and destroy them. It was the only way to stop Voldemort forever. Harry thought about his potions book. He thought about the clever Half-Blood Prince. That secret seemed small now. This new secret was enormous and heavy. It was a frightening mission, but he had to help. He looked at Dumbledore's tired face. Harry knew he was a part of this. He was not just a student. He had a role in this big, dark fight. The happy feeling from the prince's book was gone. A new, stronger feeling took its place. It was the feeling of purpose. Part 4. Professor Dumbledore learned about a Horcrux. He knew where it was hidden. One evening, he asked Harry to come with him. They did not tell anyone. They left the castle quietly. They went to a cliff by the sea. The sky was dark. The waves were loud and angry. Dumbledore found a hidden entrance. It was a cave. They went inside. The cave was cold and wet. The air tasted like salt. They found a small boat. The boat took them across a black lake. In the middle of the lake was an island of rock. On the rock was a stone bowl. The bowl was full of a strange potion. Dumbledore knew he must drink it. "You must make me drink it all, Harry," he said. His voice was calm but firm. It was very difficult. The potion caused great pain and terrible visions. Harry helped him drink every drop. When the bowl was empty, Dumbledore was very weak. Harry got the Horcrux. It was a locket, but it was not what they hoped for. Inside the locket was a note from a stranger. The real Horcrux was gone. They were both exhausted. They returned to the boat. They left the dark cave. When they got back to the school, they saw a terrible sign. The dark mark was in the sky above the tallest tower. It was the sign of the Death Eaters. They ran into the castle. Death Eaters were everywhere. There was fighting in the halls. Spells flew like bright, dangerous lights. Harry followed Dumbledore up to the tower. On the tower, they were not alone. Professor Snape was there with other Death Eaters. Dumbledore was too weak to fight. He stood calmly. He spoke softly to Snape. Then Snape raised his wand. A bright green light flashed. Professor Dumbledore fell from the tower. Harry felt a pain in his chest. He could not move. He could only watch. It was the greatest sadness he had ever known. Later, the school was quiet. The fighting was over. Harry thought about the old potions book. He finally understood. The clever notes, the spells, the name. The Half-Blood Prince was Professor Snape. Harry felt many things. He felt deep sadness for Dumbledore. He felt burning anger at Snape. But he also remembered Dumbledore's mission. He took the fake locket from his pocket. He opened it and read the note inside. It was a message for someone named R.A.B. Harry knew his job now. The sadness was heavy, but his purpose was clear. He had to find the real Horcruxes. He had to finish what Dumbledore started. Even after a great fall, the work must continue. The light must keep fighting the dark.